Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. I apologize for this final video in this setup. My next video will come out on Monday, and on Monday I'll be back to normal, back to my house. So I hope that you guys can live with this one last time. Okay, so I'm in the middle of traveling, so that's why I'm in a completely different place right now. But in any case, thank you very much for all of you who've kept with me over these difficult times, but very happy times, as you guys know. So go right through it. Job reports came out much stronger than expected. Are these numbers real? Will they be revised in the future like all others? Is this part-time jobs again versus full-time jobs? The point is, it doesn't matter in the short term. In the short term, the market will trade whatever the headline is. So I think we are a bit in a situation where you don't want to see basically a miss, because then you stir up the recession fears. But you also don't want a much better number than expected, because then you say, okay, then the Fed will not cut rates, right? Because if the job markets remains very strong, then why should they be cutting rates, right? Obviously, me and you know that the math with the current levels of debt at the current interest rate simply doesn't work. And the Fed will need to print money regardless of what the data says, because the US interest expense is already the number 3 item in the budget. It's already more money than the military. And the longer this continues, the more debt will be refinanced at the existing rates, which means more and more money will need to be allocated to pay interest. But don't forget, the US is already in a dire situation in terms of debt accumulation, people living paycheck to paycheck, etc., etc. So the Fed will use any excuse to print money, and one good excuse, unfortunately, are conflicts. Conflicts in the Middle East or in Europe are always a good excuse to say, hey, we need to be, humane, right? We need to be human. We need to be understanding. We need to be, to show some solidarity and just, keep printing the money. So that's unfortunately is going to probably be used as the excuse. Now, one thing that I don't like to see, so at the time of this recording, Bitcoin is close to 62,000, and the S&P futures seem to be recovering. However, TLT is actually quite negative, so it's negative 1+%. As you guys know, we have a very interesting take here in the channel, which is the bond market dictates all the other markets. All the other markets are simply derivatives of the bond market, because it's so massively much bigger than everything else. And you don't want to see, like, bonds can go down, that's perfectly fine, but you don't want to see 1%, 1.5% moves on bonds, because stocks may be going up in the meantime, but as you know, give it a couple of days and they need to catch up to the downside. As I've said in my previous video, all the sectors were strong buys, which means we need to start to see some sell-off, and we already saw some sell-off, but we need to cool off the system a little bit. You cannot just go up and up and up and up. No, we need up, pause, breathe, go up, pause, breathe, go up. You cannot just go up and up and up and up, because when you have those moments, those are the euphoric phases, like in the crypto market, the last couple of months, 3 months, where it's like a green candle every single week, and a fat one for that matter. And then people start to come out with narratives of why this will just keep on going, and this time is different, and there's not going to be any correction, and now we have the ETF, so it's going to be different, or the US is in favor of crypto, so it's going to be different, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what excuse you come up. People will start to create the narratives of why this time is different, and actually this time is not a bubble, and etc., etc. Now, shifting to the crypto market, as I've mentioned in my previous video, we tested Bitcoin's 50-day moving average, and I believe Ethereum 50 weekly moving average. That's it. That's all we've done. Obviously, all the YouTube channels, Discover Crypto, Crypto Banter, is sell all Ethereum, sell everything, bear market coming, bull market's over, blah, blah, blah. You guys already know that that's going to happen, because these people will say anything to get views. But they actually serve a good purpose, which is they convince a certain sector of the population that indeed the bull market is over, and you need people convinced that the bull market is over for you to continue to have the bull market. I know this sounds weird, but if everyone is already in, if everybody's convinced that the bull market is here, if everyone is convinced that Bitcoin will go to $200,000, then there's no one left to buy because everyone's already positioned. You remember a few months ago where I gave an example with oil. I said there was a news article on CNBC saying all hedge funds position for $100 oil. And I said, we are not going to get $100 oil. Why? Because everyone's already positioned for it. So the fact that you are aware of their position, that means they're already in, they already bought. And if they already bought, they can only do one thing: sell. Or hold, but sell most of the time. And then there's an incentive of front running. If everyone is expecting $100 oil, then there's an incentive to front run it, which is exactly what happened. So I think we touched 94, 95. This was like a year ago or so. And that's it. And we've never touched the $100 in oil after that news article came out. It's the same thing with every market. Now, once again, everyone was expecting September to be very bad, which means September was good. And everybody thought that as soon as we turn 1st of October, it's nothing but grid candles all the way through. So the first week of October, as well, the first 5 days, if you will, have been quite, quite disappointing versus what people were expecting. But here we are, close to 62,000. We are 4,000 away from the recent high of 66. We need time to rinse and repeat and get out some of these final people out of the way. The key to me is that the fundamentals keep on piling in favor of crypto. I've said this before, and it's very important people understand. The fundamentals are placed right now. The price reflects those fundamentals in the future, 2 months ahead, 3 months ahead. But what you need to see is what's happening right now. So Grayscale is done with more than 60% of their Bitcoin selling. There are rumors that the DOJ has actually sold their Bitcoin. Germans are done with it. What else? Mt. Gox has been fully distributed. So a lot of the selling pressure has been taken out. And now we have certain events which can be potentially very high buy pressure, like FTX distributing $16 billion to its creditors can be very bullish for crypto. The point is, you need to look at it from a into the future perspective rather than what is happening right now. So, for example, Hoppy is almost at a new all-time highs. One of my lottery tickets. Handy is also holding up very well, and the Pulse Chain ecosystem is doing incredibly well. And I've said this before. I loved the RH stickers, RH coins, at day one SEC, below day one SEC, when everybody was fudding them, when everybody was making negative videos. It's still the same crypto to me. I still like it. And I am convinced now, is this financial advice? Am I telling you to copy me? No. I am broadcasting my journey into what I hope to be financial independence and for you to see it. That's it. And to see how I think about these things. I get a feeling that in the near future, a lot of people will be very enthusiastic about that ecosystem. But I bought into it when nobody wanted it. That's the key. That's the hard part. You see, now I see influencers all day long talking about Solana, Sui. I mean, it's nonstop. One of the things that I'm actually very bullish for Ethereum is that all these influencers have ditched Ethereum. They think Ethereum is shit, Ethereum is finished. That's great. Crypto banter, right? I sold all my Ethereum. I got out of my abusive relationship with Ethereum, whatever he said. That's great. You need them out. By the time that you have all the influencers telling you why Ethereum is going to go to 40,000, that's a bad sign. That means that most likely we are much closer to the top on Ethereum than to the bottom. That's the key. That's where people get it confused. By the way, I am thinking about allocating a new lottery play to 7G. So 7G is a coin developed by Crypto7, in case you guys don't know. If you go into the description of these videos, you will see the description of the coin, all the features, all the details. Now, why do I call it a lottery play? Look, to me, my main focus, my main coins, my retirement future, let's say, I see it in Pulse, PulseX, X, Hedron, Icosa. Then I have a bit of Ink. I have a little bit of incentive token, and I have a bit of, and I do have a bag of PDI, but not that much. That's it. So to me, X, Pulse, PulseX, Hedron, Icosa are my main focus. Now, when I see things that can have some good potential, as you guys know, I've done incredibly well with Andy, more than 100x on that one. I've done incredibly well with Hoppy, not so far away from an 100x as well on that one. And you guys know that is true, because I said the first day that I came in, I said I bought this coin on this day, and here is my cost base, my cost average, and you guys know it. I've put it in the description of videos. I've always been extremely transparent on that. So there's a pre-sale currently for 7G. It's going to be a coin by Crypto7. It seems to me that he has a lot of innovative marketing in the pipeline, some interesting investors potentially coming in. To me, it's worth the risk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably deploy maybe around $1,000, $1,500, something like that. If it does very well and it does 100x, great. I'm extremely happy. If it does 1,000x, I'm even more happy. If it does a 10,000x, I'm going to throw the biggest 7G party ever seen on YouTube. If it goes to zero, if it does terribly, I lost $1,000 or $1,500. Will I live under the bridge? Is my life materially different? Am I finished? No, that's the point. If it gets to certain price targets, I will probably skim some of the principal out, because I like to be, as you guys know, on my lottery plays, I like to be risk-free, meaning I can look at the charts more relaxed. I can be more objective in my analysis, and I sleep well at night. I think that's also important. Not just, oh, but you could have gotten another 10x. Okay, sure, I could have gotten another 10x, and I could have lost half of my money as well, right? It's a trade-off. And then what is right, what is wrong, it depends on you. That's why I don't try to convince you to do stuff. That's why I don't try and make you, copy me or try to join my private groups, which don't exist for a reason. I'm just disclosing because I believe it's important that as YouTubers, even though I'm doing this as a pure hobby and I don't sell any kind of service here, I do this purely for entertainment and education. I like to be honest and say, hey, I will buy into the pre-sale. And then if I get completely annihilated, you guys can come to the comment sections and make fun of me and tell me how I'm such an idiot, right? Perfectly fine. Completely accept it, and I take it on the good side. So I'll give it a go. I'll give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. And by the way, we need to be careful about something. Not every crypto project is a scam. So for example, let's look at a stock, right? There's a company, and the company has a stock listed in the stock market, and it does well for, let's say, 10 years. And then something happens and they start to do poorly, and eventually the company gets delisted and they go bankrupt. Was this company a scam? Not necessarily. Maybe just been a failed business venture. Maybe it just didn't work out. It didn't generate, in the case of crypto, for example, didn't generate enough excitement, didn't generate a strong enough community. Very possible. Does that mean it's a scam? No, it's not a scam. A scam is if they rug pull you, if they, if they have admin keys embedded and they invalidate your coins, if they forbid you to sell, if they have some type of honeypot functions, those are scams. But so be careful with that, because I've seen already some people calling Crypto7 a scammer. I mean, look, I don't put my hands on fire for anybody in this world, particularly in crypto. However, from what I've seen of him, he seems to be, an honest person. And once again, I don't have time to go and analyze his coin for weeks and months like I've done during the bear market for Pulse Chain and PulseX and the others. So that one, I'm very convinced that I'm not going to be scammed, for example. On this one, I don't have the time because we're in the middle of the bull market. There's no time for me to come here and say, it's not a scam. I cannot say it, right? I don't know. I'm willing to take the risk myself. Whatever you guys do, it's up to you. I'm not here to try to convince you. Let's see if it goes well. I hope it does. And I hope that Crypto 7 is successful in this project. And I hope that, at the end of the day, his main focus is also RH coin. So in that sense, we have our interests are to some degree aligned. And with that, I leave you be, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for, once again, for staying with me in this less than optimal situation. And I wish you a very good day, and I'll catch you in the next one.